At a time in America where police brutality and racially charged killings have forced high tension across the nation, the Black Lives Matter movement has inspired two groups, AUC Shut It Down and It's Bigger Than You, to bond together to raise awareness and mobilize the AUC and the West End community to protest for social justice and racial equality. We first caught up with the AUC Shut It Down at one of their weekly meetings to talk to their organizer, Avery Jackson, and see how they helped the community thus far. They meet here right in the lobby of Upper Manley.
Another thing we were talking about, I think this is a good list, unless y'all have somebody like another dying. I think when you talk about is how the people be respected and how they'll be.
So AUC Shut It Down, we are aiming to increase activism, advocacy, and mobilization in the AUC. And we understand that it's important for people to be active with our conversation because we understand in the AUC that a lot of times we caught up in the conversation and we forget about the action. So if anything, the AUC Shut It Down wants to be the action after the conversation that we have in the AUC.
Meeting topics center around group organization and leadership positions to community outreach.
So a big part of AUC Shut It Down is partnering with community organizers and bridging that gap, because if we operate isolated, then we're not going to make progress. So there is currently a coalition of orgs working together to put on a Black Lives Matter memorial. And what it will do is it's going to have, it'll be like 5 hearses, and it'll be like a professional for a funeral, basically, for the lives that have been taken, just honoring those lives and really giving us time to mourn, because like, a lot of our times our community doesn't give time to mourn from these issues. We just, we act on them.
We also spoke to a few other members of AUC Shut It Down to explain their view of the new organization, its purpose, and the social injustice that is going on in today's world.
I think it's a great initiative. I feel like it's going to do it already has done a lot of great things, and I feel like once it begins to expand, it'll just go and do a lot more great things for the Black community and then for the rest of the world. Once more the AUC gets involved, because there's so many of us, then we begin to involve more of the Black community. And once we begin to involve more of the Black community, then that begins the expansion that we need. I feel like it's necessary. It's 100% necessary. Like, I feel like in order for us to have the change that we're looking for, that we're expecting, we have to be able to make our voice known and make our voices heard.
Avery also spoke about the relationship between AUC Shut It Down and It's Bigger Than You.
Hashtag It's Bigger Than You is like big brother, big sister. Like their organization has been doing the work in Atlanta since August, and they've really been mobilizing intergenerational, intersectional problems. And I think it makes no sense for us not to connect with young people who are doing the same thing. So the way it works is we go to AUC Shut It Down goes to It's Bigger Than You meetings. We're constantly involved in other actions, and they provide support so that we can mobilize on the AUC.
The next day, we headed into the West End to meet up with It's Bigger Than You lead organizer, Ariel Marie, at their weekly team meetings to see how they organize and plan for future events.
It's Bigger Than You was started almost on accident, directly following the death of Michael Brown in Ferguson. When he was executed in the streets in Missouri, I, like many of my peers, took to Twitter to talk about state-sanctioned violence and what that means. And unfortunately, I was frustrated because there seemed to be a lot of talk on Twitter, and there was no action being held, in Atlanta at least, to directly respond to the injustice that we had seen, especially because Michael Brown was the 5th young Black man in 4 days at that time on August 9th. And I just felt it necessary. So I sent out a tweet with my number, and told people that, I wanted to meet up and I wanted to do something. And eventually over 5,000 people joined me on the steps of the CNN Center.
They meet with other organizations such as AUC Shut It Down to lend a helping hand and further mobilize the West End community.
So I think the beauty of the relationship between AUC Shut It Down and It's Bigger Than You is that it happened entirely on social media, and I think that speaks to the power of social media for not only the movement but for our generation as a whole.
For New Media Live, I'm Brandon Calhoun, signing off.